the market is actually performing really well, has been and will continue, but our accounts, full disclosure, are not performing as well.
I'm getting wrecked today.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Welcome to Own the Chaos. The market is crazy and chaotic, never more so than the stuff we're in now. And we wanted to talk about oversold stocks, a lot of stocks that moved down.
Yeah.
We wanted to go over 10 of those oversold stocks. And Brad, I wanted you to take a look at them. And I want to end this and make sure you guys stick around because I want to talk about the ones we actually are thinking about buying because there's a lot of good ones that I think may be good dip buy opportunities. So what stocks do we think are oversold?
Yeah, so we'll start off with the first one is going to be Coinbase. And old Aunt Kathy.
Yeah.
You want to? I mean, I'm hurting. You're hurting. Aunt Kathy is real hurting on Coinbase right now. She actually went head first into this on IPO day and has done nothing but go straight down since. It's sitting at 257. RSI is sitting at 28, and I want to just talk about RSI real quick and just kind of have you guys understand people look at RSI and some people, I guess beginner traders will look at this and say, oh, well, it's at 30. It's got to be a buy. It's oversold. But just understand that this is an indicator. It just kind of shows how oversold something may be, but it doesn't mean that it can't go lower. And we've seen that from something like a Coinbase, for example. And so this is sitting at 28. Obviously indicates that it is oversold. Can it go lower? Sure. But man, this seems like it's pretty crazy right now. Down 5% just today. Continues to fall down. The next one,
you were in a firm.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in a firm.
And all these stocks, 7 of the 10 actually have an RSI of 30 or lower.
Yeah,
there's a couple that don't,
which is interesting because Coinbase was so red hot out of IPO day, and it actually is finally falling within a reasonable range on the RSI. So. My apologies for that, but this still looks like it's pretty crazy sitting here at 250, which is where you wanted it on IPO day anyway.
250.51. I wanted to bring that up. A lot of you guys were on the live stream. I put in an order for 250. On that day, it didn't fill, and I said I have a good till cancel. I have that good till cancel. It came to 250.51.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to just get it.
F it.
But I think it'll still go below 251.
Probably will.
But 250. But let me ask you this question. When I said that day that I'm leaving that order in for 250, did you think that it would hit? Be honest.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
I don't think anybody thought it would other than me. I mean, and I didn't. I mean, I thought there was a very, very slim chance, but.
I mean, you were essentially being like a ripoff Ritos.
Yeah, for sure. And so that was what the price was expected to be, the IPO price. Yeah. That's why I put it in at 250. So I feel like that's what they value it at. They typically come in over. So if you can get it under 250, I think it might be a good opportunity. Coinbase is definitely one that, man, it's like you said, it's just been nothing but downhill. So we'll see what happens. What do we got next?
So this one is probably one that people haven't really looked at as oversold, and it's not oversold, but they had rocking earnings, and it's actually sold off pretty good. It's down 4% today. I've been in Under Armour for quite some time. I've been kind of jumping up and down, pounding my fist on the table that this isn't a screaming buy. I think this is going to be a good opportunity to just grab the dip on, personally.
I think from a technical perspective, that $20 it's a great opportunity, especially for an asymmetrical trade.
Yeah.
If you wanted to just try to get in, and see if it stays above that 20. It might be a really good opportunity. I like that as one of the, some of these are the pre-COVID beatdown ones.
Yeah.
This one is not. This one's a rotational one, so that one's good for sure.
Yeah. Next one's going to be MGM. It's down 6.5% today on nothing, essentially.
Yeah.
No reason why this is down. Down below supports. It's sitting on RSI around 44, so getting close to oversold territory as far as the RSI is concerned. I don't understand this either. I think this is another good opportunity. Some of these on this list that I have are kind of like ones that I think could potentially go lower. I just don't know how MGM goes lower given the reopening that we're going to see from this. Yeah,
they've outperformed. I really like this. I am really surprised that it got below 40.
Me too.
But it's shown a propensity to get around that area. It wants to be above that area, I believe.
Yeah.
It's really promising. This stock is really promising. And the next one we're going to talk about, which has really been beaten down in a similar space, I think they're competitors, but Take your pick, MGM or the next one, which is PENN.
PENN, and they knocked earnings out of the park. I mean, this one, it's crazy to me how much this has fallen. I know that you guys know that I'm heavily invested in PENN, so I know that I could potentially have confirmation bias here, but there's nothing about those earnings that anybody could say was bad. And the outlook was great. And they mostly leaned on the regional casinos that were opening back up. They have the numbers that were coming in, the amount of people spending money per visit is much more than it was even in 2019. So that's really encouraging from the regional casino side of things. And obviously you have Barstool, which we've talked about at length. I think this is, again, a good opportunity to just buy some more PENN. I just don't understand why it's down this far.
Yeah, and let me clarify that a couple things. So first, the average spend per customer, right?
Yeah.
So it was higher than pre-COVID levels. That drove them through COVID, actually.
Yeah.
But they've maintained it. So
Right.
they anticipate that spend to stay up there. And the other thing is they saw the younger demographic come in,
Yep.
which they're maintaining. And the one thing they were missing at pre-COVID was 55 and older demographic because of COVID. And they said that they're back to pre-COVID levels, so
Yeah.
2019 levels. So you put all that together, and the factors that pushed them through COVID are staying and not pulling back.
Correct.
On top of the Barstool bets, this should go off. You're right. We could have confirmation bias. I think you do need to be careful, but this is ridiculous. And you had said, was it on Twitter that Dave Portnoy say, watch out for something that PENN?
Yeah,
there's
so
an announcement
Dave said this morning that they have an announcement that they're going to be making that's going to be big for the company, for Barstool and for PENN, to just showcase what they're capable of doing. No idea what that means, but he said that they have something coming. So if there's more catalysts to come, then I'm going to continue to just stay in PENN. This is crazy to me.
All right, what do we got next?
Next is Zoom. Zoom is oversold. Oh, wow. On the RSI, it says it's oversold. This is one to what I was kind of alluding to where I think that there's potential for Zoom to come down a little bit further because their forward PE is like 120 times earnings. And so, you know, from a valuation standpoint, it is expensive still, even at $290. But we still like Zoom a lot. There's a lot of people now talking about how they're not going to do remote work anymore, which is a lie. There's still a lot of people that are going to be doing remote work. It's not going away. So I'd be curious to see what Zoom's earnings look like. Watch out, because I think we could see a really good pop out of Zoom earnings in June.
Yeah, I'm excited for those earnings. I am in it. I'm down over 10%. I've been beaten down, but I don't want to be out of it. And that's one of those that it's been tough for me because it's been just seeing that kind of bleed. My account is a long-term investment account, so these things happen.
Yep.
But again, time in the market, not timing the market. I'm not trying to time it. Like, I just think you're right. Fundamentally, you could argue that it is overvalued, but I just don't. I think the outlook is so promising, especially from an international perspective.
Yes.
It's going to be coming back quick.
I think they could grow into that valuation.
Speaking of one that's been really beaten down, this guy Palantir.
Jesus, it fell down into the teens. We haven't seen this since November. We haven't seen Palantir at these prices since November.
Wild.
And they're continuing to grow. There's nothing. I mean, they're not overvalued. They did a direct listing back earlier in the summer of last year, and it just, this doesn't make any sense either. So the fact of the matter is that investors, and I'm talking like big money, hedge funds, that sort of thing, for whatever reason, they're just leaving tech and going back into cyclicals. But I think that this leaves you for a good opportunity to get in some of the good tech stuff. Palantir is definitely on that list.
Yeah, and Aunt Kathy's been loading and loading and loading on this.
She's down 32% this year.
I know, it's crazy. Rocket.
Yep.
Fat Man Zoom Rocket. Almost changed my name. Glad I didn't. I mean, they reported earnings this morning pre-market, right?
Yes.
And
this was something that I said that could potentially happen.
You called it on Stockwatch Sunday. Shout out to Stockwatch Sunday, guys. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. We go live every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time if you want to check us out.
Yeah, so, you know, this is kind of something that was a cause for concern. And I even mentioned this on Tuesday's live stream as well, that this could happen. I think now is going to be the time to be scooping up some Rocket.
Hell yeah, bro.
I mean, this is definitely oversold. I mean, we're sitting well below 30 on RSI, and I just think the gap down today, we could see a few more days of just kind of either consolidation or maybe even a little bit more red, but I don't think we see too much more of this.
Now, the next one is Airbnb. The ones we talked about before, for the most part, you know, it's been fintech or tech in general, and like we understand the move.
Yeah.
Airbnb should not be down where it is.
No.
It's insane. And like,
Definitely
it's
not.
a reopening play. Demand's high, recently IPO'd.
Yep.
I mean, if this gets, like, I can't even believe it's back to 150.
So we haven't seen 150 out of Airbnb since January. And so, which was what, 2 weeks, and 2 weeks prior was their IPO. So I just, this doesn't make any sense to me either. We've talked, I think part of the reason why this is selling off is Booking.com came out with earnings and expressed some of the challenges that they're having internationally because of COVID. That could pose a problem in slow growth as far as a reopening is concerned. And Airbnb has international locations, don't get me wrong, but they're primarily focused domestically. And you, just were out of the country, and you said that yourself that you were having a hard time finding places to stay as far as Airbnb is concerned. So I don't think that Airbnb is going anywhere, and I would definitely look at this as an opportunity to potentially buy some. Yeah,
and people have mentioned the investment they're making in and how it could impact them. They don't have enough hosts. I don't agree with that thought process because to me, that just means demand is high.
Yeah.
And as they get more hosts, which they will, they're just going to fulfill that demand and exceed the revenues. Now, before you get to that one, pull up Fastly because we did have that as one of them.
God, Fastly, jeez, I know this thing's crazy.
So Fastly
30% today.
Yeah, and like it's been on our watch list, and you made a good point about it's almost like tech right now. If you beat earnings, it's going to sell off. If you miss, it's going to just crash.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Fastly did. It missed on earnings per share and on revenue.
Yes.
And it tanked.
Big time.
My God. I mean, don't catch a falling knife, but like.
We haven't seen these numbers.
What an opportunity.
This is something that we haven't seen. I mean, I don't know if it's an opportunity just yet. Just because of the miss, I definitely think that you're going to be able to take advantage of maybe an overreaction here short term, but we haven't seen these numbers since, let's see.
Before that, it's lower than that, right?
Is it lower than 44?
It's $42.
It's 42, yeah, so before that. So let's see. June 1st of last year, so almost a year ago. Wow. 52-week lows for Fastly.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
Like I said, you don't want to catch a falling kniff, but there's an opportunity here for sure.
Yeah.
So the last one was Uber, and Uber's one that we haven't been fans of from a long-term perspective, but I would agree with you that like this is one to keep your eye on. And why did this come to mind for you, Brad?
I don't like Uber because the Uber Eats part of what it does for restaurants, and you know as somebody who's in hospitality how restaurants feel about Uber Eats, and it's just something that they're going to have to a pill they're going to have to swallow. But there's something to be said for people who used Uber Eats over the pandemic, and they're not going to just stop using Uber Eats because things are open back up. Are they going to slow that part of their business? Potentially, it at least levels off. But the other part of this is obviously the ride sharing. If you're going back to restaurants and you're going back out to places of hospitality, you're probably going to be drinking some, maybe a lot, and you're going to need ride sharing like Uber to get you back home or take you there. And so I think that with Uber selling off today, I think this is going to be a huge opportunity for anybody looking. It's resting right now on its 200-day moving average on the daily chart. It is very oversold. And I think that this is probably a good opportunity, at least in the short term, to grab some Uber.
All right, so let's wrap this thing up. Give us the three out of all the ones we mentioned that you are considering getting into based on our conversation.
Let me go back and look at the list here. So I think that obviously PENN's got to be on that list. Uber, I think, could potentially be something that I buy, and then Rocket.
I like Rocket. I'm not going to use Rocket. I agree with you 100%. I'm going to say Fastly. I'm going to say Airbnb, and I'm going to say Coinbase as a bit of a diversification play.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for those three. Really important, guys, scaling in more so than ever to be careful to scale in. Make sure you're smart as far as your entries are concerned. Those are our stocks, guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you want to join our Chaos Crew, we give out 5 stocks every day that we're watching. Go hit that join button right next to the live. It's the subscribe. My God. Let me try that one more time. Guys, there you have it. If you want to get our 5 stocks every day, you can join the Chaos Crew. We give out our watch list. We have a Discord. We have private Q&As. We have all the good stuff as well as access to Brad's portfolio. Make sure you hit the join button next to subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.